The great hall of the Galactic Council stretched far above Elena Vasquez's head. Golden light filled the massive space where 12 different alien races sat in their special seats. Each race had their own section designed for their unique bodies. The Zephyrians looked like living crystals that sang when they spoke. The Valdari had large heads and could read minds. The Threx moved like liquid metal in their chairs. Elena sat in the human section. It was smaller than the others and placed at the back. This showed humanity's place in the galaxy. They were the newest members, and everyone thought they were not very important. The emergency meeting had been called because of bad news. The Kethmoran Empire was attacking again. They had already taken 3 council worlds in the past month. Their biomechanical ships moved through space like hungry wolves. Nobody had been able to stop them for over 1,000 years. High Counselor Zethvar of the Zephyrians stood up. His crystal body made musical sounds as he moved. "The situation grows worse each day," he said. His voice sounded like wind chimes. "The Kethmoran forces have enslaved 2 million beings on Altair Prime. They are converting the survivors into their biomechanical drones." Elena felt sick. She had seen the reports. The Kethmorans did not just kill their enemies. They changed them into living machines that served the Empire. It was a fate worse than death. The Valdari representative, Mindweaver Yol, spoke without moving his mouth. His thoughts went directly into everyone's minds. "We must consider diplomatic solutions. Perhaps we can offer them territory in exchange for peace." "What territory?" asked Commander Grix of the Threx military caste. His metal body shifted and flowed as he spoke. "They want everything. They have been expanding for centuries. Diplomacy has never worked with the Kethmorans." Elena raised her hand. The other council members looked at her with barely hidden annoyance. Humans were supposed to listen, not speak, during important meetings. "Ambassador Vasquez," said Zethvar, "what does the Terran Federation wish to add?" Elena stood up. She was tall for a human with dark hair and serious brown eyes. "The human colonies on the Outer Rim are directly in their path. We volunteer to help defend those systems. Our fleet is ready to fight." Several council members made sounds that Elena knew meant amusement. The Zephyrians' crystals tinkled like laughter. The Valdari shared thoughts that Elena could not hear, but she saw their large heads shake back and forth. "How touching," said Zethvar. "The humans wish to help, but your weapons are crude compared to Kethmoran biotechnology. Your ships are outdated. You have only been in space for 200 years. The Kethmorans have been conquering worlds since before your species discovered fire." Elena's face stayed calm, but inside she felt angry. "We may be new to space, but humans know how to fight. We have been fighting on Earth for thousands of years." "Fighting with sticks and stones?" laughed Grix. "The Kethmorans use living ships that heal themselves. They have warrior drones that can adapt to any weapon. Your human armies fight like animals, with no order or advanced tactics." The other council members agreed. They spoke about humanity, like parents talking about a child who wanted to help with adult work. Elena had heard it all before. Humans were primitive. Humans were violent. Humans did not understand civilized warfare. "Very well," said Elena. "If you believe we cannot help, then we will defend our own colonies. But we ask for no help from the Council when the Kethmorans reach our space." "Of course," said Zethvar. His crystal body made a warm humming sound. "The Council will remember human sacrifice. When this war is over, your brave efforts will be recorded in our archives. Your culture will not be forgotten." Elena understood what he really meant. The Council expected humanity to die fighting. They thought human colonies would slow down the Kethmorans just enough for the older races to prepare better defenses. The meeting continued for 3 more hours. The Council made plans that did not include human forces. They would pull back, their fleets to protect core worlds. The Outer Rim, where humans lived, would be abandoned to the enemy. When the meeting ended, Elena walked through the station's corridors. Other ambassadors passed by without looking at her. Some whispered to each other in their own languages. She did not need telepathy to know what they were saying. Elena reached the communications center and sent a message back to Earth. The Terran Federation needed to know what was coming. More importantly, they needed to know they would face it alone. President, Chen received her message 6 hours later, due to the distance between Earth and the Council Station. His reply was simple. Understood. Humanity will handle this our way. Elena smiled for the first time all day. The council members thought they knew humans. They had studied human history and culture for 50 years. They knew about human wars and human weapons. But they had only seen humanity at peace. For 50 years, humans had tried to be good galactic citizens. They followed council laws. They used approved weapons and approved tactics. They acted civilized and proper because they wanted to belong. The council had forgotten something important about human history. On Earth, being civilized was a choice. Humans could be gentle and kind when they felt safe. But when survival was at stake, humans became something different. Elena looked out the station window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Kethmoran Empire was moving toward human space. They expected to find easy prey, a young species with primitive weapons and simple tactics. They were about to learn why humans had survived everything Earth could throw at them. Ice ages, volcanoes, plagues, and countless wars. Humans had lived through it all. They had climbed to the top of Earth's food chain not through superior technology, but through being smarter, tougher, and more stubborn than everything else. The Kethmorans had conquered civilized races that followed rules of war. They had never faced an enemy that would do absolutely anything to survive. They had never fought humans who had their backs against the wall. Elena began composing another message. This one would go to Admiral Marcus Chen, head of the human fleet. The message was short. They want to see how humans fight. Show them. As Elena sent the message, she wondered if the council would still think humans were primitive when this was over. She suspected they would learn to see humanity very differently. In the distance, the first Kethmoran scout ships were already moving toward the outer rim. The war was about to begin, and humanity was about to remind the galaxy why Earth's apex predator had always been its most dangerous species. The council thought they knew what humans could do. They were wrong. They had only seen humanity wearing a mask of civilization. Soon they would see what was underneath. Admiral Marcus Chen stood on the bridge of the TFS Defiant, watching the tactical display with growing concern. Red dots showed Kethmoran ships moving through human space like a plague. In just 2 weeks, they had taken 4 colony worlds. The attacks followed the same pattern every time. First came the scout ships, small, fast vessels that looked like mechanical insects. They studied the defenses and sent information back to the main fleet. Then came the bioships, massive living creatures covered in metal armor and weapons. The bioships could heal damage to themselves and adapt to human weapons after just a few battles. "Admiral," called Lieutenant Foster from the communication station. "We're getting reports from New Geneva system. The Kethmorans have begun the conversion process." Chen closed his eyes. He had seen the conversion process before on Kepler Prime. The Kethmorans did not just kill their enemies. They captured survivors and changed them into biomechanical drones. Living beings became part machine, part organic matter, with their minds controlled by Kethmoran commanders. "How many survivors?" Chen asked. "Unknown, sir. The colony had 200,000 people. The Kethmorans took everyone they could find." Chen felt anger burning in his chest. 200,000 human beings were being turned into weapons for the enemy. The converted drones would be used to attack other human colonies. It was a perfect weapon, forcing humans to fight their own people. The bridge crew worked quietly around him. Chen could see the fear in their eyes. Everyone had families on colony worlds. Everyone knew the Kethmorans were winning. "Sir," called the sensor officer, "we're receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council." The main screen showed Elena Vasquez in her office on Council Station. Behind her, Chen could see representatives from other races watching the conversation. "Admiral Chen," Elena said, "the Council has been following your defensive efforts. High Counselor Zethvar wishes to express his admiration for human courage. In the face of impossible odds." Chen knew what that meant. The council was already writing humanity's obituary. Tell the High Counselor we appreciate his kind words, Chen replied. What assistance is the council providing? Elena's face stayed neutral, but Chen saw the anger in her eyes. The council has decided to concentrate their forces around core systems. They believe a strategic withdrawal is the best option for galactic defense. I see. Chen understood perfectly. The council was abandoning humanity to slow down the Kethmorans. And what about our request for advanced weapons? The council feels that sharing advanced technology with less experienced races could be dangerous. They prefer to handle such weapons themselves. Chen almost smiled. Even now, as humans died by the thousands, the council still treated them like children who could not be trusted with grown-up tools. Admiral, Elena continued, the council media wants to document humanity's final stand. They're calling it a noble sacrifice for galactic civilization. How thoughtful of them, Chen said. Please tell the media they can document whatever they want. They might find the results more interesting than they expect. After Elena signed off, Chen turned to his tactical officer. Commander Rodriguez, what's our current fleet strength? 87 ships, sir, all human design. We have 12 heavy cruisers, 23 destroyers, and 52 frigates. The Kethmorans have over 300 bioships in this sector alone. The numbers were not good. Chen's fleet was outnumbered more than 3-1, but numbers only mattered if both sides fought the same way. Sir, called the communications officer, we're getting reports from all sectors. Kethmoran forces are advancing on multiple fronts. They'll reach the Sol system within 6 weeks. 6 weeks until Earth itself was under attack. 6 weeks until humanity's homeworld faced conversion or destruction. Chen had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. But the reality was worse than any simulation. Admiral, said Rodriguez quietly, the crew is asking about evacuation plans. Should we begin moving civilians from Earth? Chen looked at the tactical display again. The red dots were everywhere now, moving deeper into human space with each passing day. Traditional military tactics had failed completely. The Kethmorans adapted too quickly to standard weapons and strategies. No evacuation, Chen said. Send a message to all fleet commanders. Tell them to fall back to Sol system. We make our stand there. Sir? Rodriguez looked confused. Shouldn't we try to slow them down? Fight a series of delaying actions? The mine. Council expects us to die slowly and heroically, Chen replied. They want us to buy them time while they prepare their real defenses. But I have a different plan. Chen walked to the center of the bridge. His crew gathered around him, men and women who had joined the fleet to explore the stars and protect human colonies. Now they faced an enemy that seemed impossible to defeat. For 50 years, Chen said, humanity has tried to fight like civilized galactic citizens. We used approved weapons and approved tactics. We followed the Council's rules of engagement. And where did it get us? He gestured at the tactical display. The Kethmorans are winning because they fight to survive. They use every weapon and every advantage they can find. They don't care about Council rules or civilized warfare. Chen's voice grew stronger. Well, neither do we. Not anymore. Send a message to Earth. Tell them to activate all the mothballed weapons programs, the ones the Council made us promise never to use. It's time to stop playing by their rules. The crew exchanged looks. Everyone knew about the secret projects, weapons and tactics that the Council had banned as too dangerous or uncivilized. Humanity had agreed to abandon them in exchange for Council membership. Sir, Rodriguez said carefully, those weapons, the Council specifically forbade their development. Chen smiled, and for the first time in weeks it was a real smile. The Council thinks we're going to die anyway. They won't complain if we fight dirty while we're doing it. He turned to the communications station. Send another message. This one goes to Dr. Sarah Kim at the Lunar Research Station. Tell her to activate Project Lazarus immediately. Lieutenant Foster looked up from his console. Sir, Project Lazarus was classified beyond Council security clearance. What should I tell her about authorization? Tell her the authorization is simple, Chen replied. We're about to die unless we try something new. I think that covers it. As his crew carried out the orders, Chen stared at the stars beyond the bridge windows. The Kethmarans thought they were hunting weak prey. They had studied human military records and found nothing impressive. Primitive weapons, simple tactics, no advanced technology. What they had not studied was human history before, space travel. They did not know about the wars that had shaped humanity for thousands of years. They did not understand what humans became when their survival was at stake. The Kethmarans were about to learn why every predator on Earth had learned to fear humans. They were about to discover that the scariest thing in the galaxy was not a biomechanical war machine. It was a human being with nothing left to lose. Dr. Sarah Kim stared at the dead Kethmoran bioship floating outside Luna Research Station. The massive creature machine was the size of a city block, its organic hull covered with metal plates and weapon pods. 3 days ago, it had been attacking human ships. Now it was her research subject. "Are you sure this is going to work?" asked Dr. Martinez, her assistant. He looked nervous as they prepared to enter the bioship's interior. Sarah checked her equipment one more time. "The theory is sound. Kethmoran bioships are part machine, part living organism. If we can understand how they integrate technology with biology, we can do the same thing. But faster than a species that's been perfecting this for thousands of years," Sarah smiled grimly. "Humans have one advantage the Kethmarans don't expect. We're insane enough to try anything when we're desperate." Project Lazarus had been Sarah's idea 5 years ago. She had proposed taking captured alien technology and integrating it with human ships and weapons. The Council had immediately banned the research, calling it dangerous biological warfare and unethical experimentation. Now, with extinction staring humanity in the face, ethics had become a luxury they could not afford. Sarah and her team entered the bioship through a wound in its hull. The interior was like nothing she had ever seen. Walls pulsed with organic life while mechanical components sparked with energy. Cables that looked like veins carried both blood and electricity. "It's beautiful," whispered Dr. Chen, the team's xenobiologist. "They've achieved perfect integration between organic and mechanical systems." "Beautiful and deadly," Sarah replied. "Look at these weapon pods. They can adapt to any attack pattern in real time. No wonder human ships couldn't fight them effectively." The team spent hours collecting samples and scanning systems. Every piece of technology told the same story. The Kethmarans had created perfect weapons by combining the best of both worlds, living organisms that could heal and adapt, enhanced with mechanical precision and power. Dr. Kim called Martinez from the ship's control center. "You need to see this." Sarah hurried to where Martinez was studying a complex biomechanical interface. Organic tendrils connected to electronic displays while what looked like a brain pulsed inside a transparent container. "This is how they control their drones," Martinez explained. "The converted beings are connected to this central consciousness. It coordinates all their actions." Sarah studied the system carefully. "It's a hive mind. All the drones share information instantly. That's why they adapt so quickly to our tactics. Can we disrupt it? Maybe. But I have a better idea." Sarah's eyes gleamed with excitement. "What if we don't disrupt it? What if we take control of it?" 3 weeks later, Admiral Chen watched the first batch of retrofitted human ships leave Luna Station. They looked different now, sleeker, more organic. Biomechanical cables ran along their hulls like veins. Weapon pods that could heal themselves were mounted where traditional guns used to be. "Admiral," reported Commander Rodriguez, "the TFS Phoenix is reporting successful integration. All biomechanical systems are responding normally." Chen nodded. The Phoenix had been his flagship's sister ship. Now it was something new, a hybrid of human engineering and Kethmaran biotechnology. It still looked like a human vessel, but it could heal damage and adapt to enemy weapons just like a bioship. "What about the crew?" Chen asked. "Captain Morrison reports no side effects from the bio-neural interfaces. The connection between human minds and ship systems is stable." That had been Sarah's greatest breakthrough. Instead of replacing human crews with drones, she had found a way to enhance human consciousness. Pilots could now think as fast as computers while maintaining their creativity and independence. "Sir," called the sensor officer, "Kethmaran ships are approaching the outer system. 12 bioships with full drone support." Chen smiled. "Perfect timing. Signal all ships. Begin Operation Prometheus." The human fleet moved to intercept the Kethmaran forces. To outside observers, it looked like another hopeless last stand. 12 human ships against 12 larger bioships and hundreds of drones. But the Kethmarans quickly discovered something was wrong. Captain Morrison fired the Phoenix's new weapons, biomechanical projectiles that burrowed into enemy hulls, like living creatures. Instead of exploding, they began converting the bioship's own systems against it. "Target is showing confusion in its command structure," reported Morrison. "The conversion virus is spreading through its bioneural network." The Kethmaran bioship tried to adapt, but the human virus adapted faster. Within minutes, the massive creature machine was turning its weapons on its own escort drones. "Impossible," transmitted the Kethmaran commander. "How are you controlling our ships?" Chen opened a channel to all enemy vessels. "You taught us that biology and technology could work together. We just learned the lesson better than you expected, A4. Battle was unlike anything in galactic history. Human ships moved with organic fluidity while firing weapons that thought for themselves. Kethmaran bioships found their own systems turning against them as human viruses spread through their networks. "Admiral," reported Rodriguez with excitement, "we're winning. The Kethmarans can't adapt fast enough." But Chen was not satisfied with just winning one battle. He opened a channel to Earth. "Dr. Kim, are you ready for Phase 2? Sarah's voice came through clearly. "All systems are go, Admiral. The quantum virus is loaded into our biomechanical weapons. Then let's send our friends a message they won't forget." The human ships launched a coordinated attack on the retreating Kethmaran forces, but instead of destroying them, they infected them with a new type of virus, one that would spread to every bioship in the Kethmaran fleet. Within hours, Kethmaran commanders across the galaxy received impossible reports. Their bioships were turning against each other. Converted drones were breaking free of hive mind control. Entire fleets were consuming themselves in mechanical cannibalism. On the bridge of his flagship, Overlord Vexthul of the Kethmaran Empire experienced something his species had not felt in centuries: fear. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "Humans are primitive. They know nothing of biomechanical warfare." His science officer, a creature that was more machine than flesh, studied the incoming data. "My lord, they have somehow reverse-engineered our technology and improved upon it. Their biological viruses are more sophisticated than anything in our databases." "Impossible. They have only been in space for 2 centuries. Perhaps, my lord, we underestimated them." Vexthul's mechanical claws scraped against his command chair. For 1,000 years, the Kethmaran Empire had conquered every enemy through superior adaptation. They studied their foes, learned their weaknesses, and overwhelmed them with evolved biomechanical forces. But humans were not adapting to Kethmaran warfare. They were forcing the Kethmarans to adapt to human warfare. And human warfare, Vexthul was learning, followed no rules except victory. Back in the Sol system, Admiral Chen received a transmission from the Galactic Council. Elena Vasquez appeared on screen, and for the first time in months, she was smiling. "Admiral," she said, "the Council has been monitoring your recent engagements. High Counselor Zethvar wishes to discuss possible assistance for humanity's defense efforts." Chen almost laughed. Now that humans were winning, the Council suddenly wanted to help. "Tell the High Counselor we appreciate his concern," Chen replied. "But as he pointed out, humans prefer to handle things our own way." Elena's smile grew wider. "I'll be sure to pass along that message. Oh, and Admiral? The galactic media is still documenting humanity's stand. I think they're finding the results much more interesting than they expected." Chen looked at the tactical display. Red dots that had once shown Kethmaran advances were now retreating. Human bioships were pursuing them, spreading quantum viruses wherever they went. The Council had expected humanity to die heroically while buying time for civilized races to prepare their defenses. Instead, Humanity had stopped playing by civilized rules, and the galaxy was about to learn that when humans fought for survival, they did not just defend themselves, they won. The liberation of Altair Prime began at dawn. Captain Lisa Chen watched through her bioship's sensors as human forces surrounded the converted colony. 2 months ago, the Kethmorans had enslaved 2 million people here. Now those people were biomechanical drones serving the enemy. Remember, Chen told her assault team, these aren't enemies, they're victims. Dr. Kim's reversal process should work, but we need to capture them alive. Lieutenant Torres checked his weapon, a biomechanical stunner that could shut down drone control systems without killing the host. Ma'am, what if the reversal doesn't work? What if we can't save them? Chen's jaw tightened. That was the nightmare scenario every human soldier feared. Finding family and friends converted into enemy drones, their minds trapped inside mechanical bodies. It will work, she said firmly. Dr. Kim has tested it on recovered drones. We can bring them back. The assault began with surgical precision. Human bioships deployed swarms of microviruses that targeted only Kethmoran control systems. Within minutes, the planetary defense grid was shutting down as its biomechanical components turned against each other. First wave successful, reported Torres. Kethmoran bioships are retreating from orbit. They're leaving the drones behind. Chen smiled grimly. The Kethmorans were learning to fear human bio-warfare. When their own ships became weapons against them, retreat was often their only option. Human ground forces landed and captured Kethmoran drop pods, living transport creatures that had been converted to serve human purposes. The pods opened like flowers, releasing soldiers armed with biomechanical weapons and healing systems. The first group of drones they encountered had once been farmers from New Geneva Colony. Their bodies were covered with mechanical implants, their eyes glowing with artificial light. They moved in perfect coordination, sharing a single hive mind. Target the control nodes, Chen ordered. Disable, don't destroy. Human weapons fired, bioelectrical pulses that overloaded drone control systems. One by one, the converted humans collapsed as their mechanical components shut down. Medical teams rushed forward with reversal serums developed by Dr. Kim's team. It's working, called Dr. Patel, the field medic. Subject 1 is showing signs of individual consciousness. The mechanical implants are going dormant. The first recovered drone was a middle-aged woman named Sarah Martinez. As the reversal serum took effect, her mechanical implants retreated into inactive state. Her natural eye color returned and she looked around in confusion. Where am I? She whispered. Chen knelt beside her. You're safe now. You're on Altair Prime. We're here to take you home. Sarah's memories slowly returned. The Kethmorans, they took us, changed us. I could hear my own thoughts, but I couldn't control my body. That's over now, Chen assured her. You're free. The liberation took 3 days. Human forces moved systematically through the colony, capturing and reversing thousands of drones. Each success proved that Dr. Kim's process worked. Humans could be saved from conversion, but the real surprise came when they captured Kethmoran bioships intact. Dr. Kim herself arrived on the 4th day to study the captured vessels. What she found changed everything humanity thought they knew about their enemies. Admiral Chen, she reported via secure transmission, you need to see this. The Kethmorans, they're not what we thought they were. Admiral Chen joined her via quantum link, his consciousness temporarily connected to the captured bioship systems. What he saw shocked him. The Kethmoran crew were not natural biomechanical beings. They were converts, just like human drones. Underneath their mechanical implants were organic bodies from dozens of different species. They're all slaves, Dr. Kim explained. The original Kethmoran species died out centuries ago. What we've been fighting is their automated conquest system. It converts every species it encounters and uses them to attack the next target. Chen felt sick as the implications hit him. You're saying the entire Kethmoran empire is made up of converted slaves from conquered civilizations? Exactly. And Admiral, some of these converts are from council races. I found Zephyrians, Valdari, even some Threx. The Keth-Moran system has been converting Council citizens for decades. Chen's anger turned to cold determination. Can we free them? The reversal process works on any species. But Admiral, there are billions of converts across Keth-Moran space. This isn't just about defeating an empire. It's about liberating every enslaved being in their territory. Chen opened a channel to the entire human fleet. All ships, this is Admiral Chen. We've discovered the truth about our enemy. The Keth-Moran Empire is not a species, it's a disease. Every being in their space is a slave forced to fight against their will. He paused, letting that sink in. Our mission has changed. We're not just defending humanity anymore. We're liberating every enslaved person in the galaxy. Prepare for Operation Liberation. The human fleet began moving deeper into Keth-Moran space. But instead of destroying enemy ships, they captured them and freed their crews. Each liberated bioship became a weapon in humanity's growing armada. News of the human campaign spread across the galaxy. The Galactic Council watched in amazement as human forces did something no one had thought possible. They were actually winning against the Keth-Morans. Impossible, muttered High Counselor Zethvar as he watched reports from the front lines. How are primitive humans succeeding where advanced civilizations have failed for centuries? Elena Vasquez smiled as she delivered humanity's latest report to the Council. Perhaps you should ask them yourself, High Counselor. I'm sure Admiral Chen would be happy to explain human tactics. Zethvar's crystal body dimmed with embarrassment. For months, the Council had treated humans like children playing at war. Now those same humans were accomplishing what the greatest military minds in galactic history had declared impossible. Ambassador Vasquez, said Mindweaver Yol of the Valdari, our intelligence reports suggest humans have developed biomechanical weapons superior to Keth-Moran technology. How is this possible? Elena's expression remained polite, but her voice carried an edge. As Admiral Chen recently explained to your military attaché, humans have a simple philosophy when it comes to warfare: adapt or die. The Keth-Morans taught us their technology. We simply learned it better than they did. But surely humanity will share these advances with the Council, pressed Commander Grix of the Threx. The greater good of galactic civilization demands it. Elena's smile became cold. The greater good? Where was the Council's concern for the greater good when human colonies were being converted? Where were your advanced weapons when we begged for help? The Council chamber fell silent. Every representative remembered their decision to abandon humanity to buy time for their own defenses. Humanity will share our advances, Elena continued, with species that prove they can be trusted. We'll start with the beings we're liberating from Keth-Moran slavery. Many of them, I believe, are your own citizens. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer the junior partner begging for acceptance. They had become the dominant military power in the galaxy, and they remembered who had helped them and who had not. On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Chen received updates from across the expanding Liberation Zone. Human bioships were freeing enslaved populations on dozens of worlds. Each victory brought more allies and more resources. Admiral, reported Commander Rodriguez, we've received a transmission from Overlord Vexthul himself. He wants to discuss terms. Chen almost laughed. The mighty Keth-Moran Empire, which had terrorized the galaxy for centuries, wanted to negotiate with the primitive humans. Put him through, Chen ordered. Vexthul's image appeared on the main screen. The Keth-Moran overlord looked like a nightmare fusion of organic tissue and mechanical parts. But Chen could see fear in his artificial eyes. Human Admiral, Vexthul said, you do not understand what you are doing. The conversion process maintains order. Without it, chaos will consume the galaxy. The only chaos I see, Chen replied, is the chaos you created by enslaving entire civilizations. But don't worry, Overlord. We're going to help you understand freedom. You cannot stop the Empire. We are eternal. We are perfection. Chen's smile was cold as winter space. You're about to learn something about humans, Overlord. We don't believe in perfection. We believe in getting better every day. and today we're going to make your empire much better." Chen cut the transmission and turned to his crew. "Signal all ships. Begin the final assault on Catamaran Prime. It's time to free every last slave in this empire." The hunter had become the hunted, and humanity was just getting started. The siege of Catamaran Prime lasted 7 days. Admiral Chen stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching as human bioships surrounded the heart of the ancient empire. The planet below was a massive biomechanical construct, part world, part machine, part living organism. "Final assault teams are in position," reported Commander Rodriguez. "All Liberation ships have reported ready status." Chen nodded. Around Catamaran Prime, hundreds of ships waited for his signal. Many were human vessels enhanced with biomechanical technology. Others were captured Catamaran bioships, now serving their former victims. The largest group consisted of ships crewed by liberated slaves from dozens of different species. "Admiral," called the communications officer, "we're receiving one final transmission from Overlord Vexthul." "Put him through." Vexthul's image appeared on the main screen. The Catamaran Overlord looked different now, damaged, desperate. Parts of his biomechanical body were failing as human viruses spread through his ship's systems. "Human," Vexthul said, "you have won. But victory will cost you everything. Do you know what you are destroying?" The Catamaran system brought order to chaos. "We eliminated war between species. We created unity." Chen's expression remained cold. "You created slavery. You turned free beings into weapons. That's not unity. That's tyranny. Without us, the galaxy will return to its natural state. Endless conflict between different races and cultures. At least our way brought peace. Your way brought the peace of the grave." Chen replied, "Real peace has to be chosen, not forced. The beings you enslaved deserve the chance to make that choice for themselves." Vexthul's artificial eyes flickered with failing power. "You speak of choice, but humans are the most violent species in known space. Your own history is nothing but war and conquest. You will become worse than we ever were." Chen was quiet for a moment. The Overlord was not entirely wrong. Human history was filled with conflict and violence, but that same history had also produced something else. "You're right about one thing," Chen said finally. "Humans are violent. We've been fighting each other for thousands of years. But we learned something from all that fighting. We learned when to stop." He gestured at the mixed fleet surrounding the planet. "Look around you, Overlord. Humans could have destroyed your empire completely. Instead, we chose to liberate it. We could have enslaved your people the way you enslaved others. Instead, we're offering them freedom." Vexthul's form was beginning to dissolve as human viruses completely took over his ship's biosystems. "Freedom is chaos." "Maybe," Chen agreed. "But it's their chaos to choose. That's what makes it freedom." The transmission ended as Vexthul's ship finally succumbed to the liberation virus. The Catamaran Overlord, who had ruled an empire of slaves for centuries, simply faded away. His consciousness finally freed from the mechanical prison that had kept him alive. "All ships," Chen broadcast, "begin final liberation protocol. Free every slave on that planet." The assault on Catamaran Prime was unlike any battle in galactic history. Human forces did not bomb the planet or destroy its infrastructure. Instead, they deployed millions of liberation viruses that spread through the planet's biomechanical systems like wildfire. Dr. Sarah Kim monitored the process from her command ship. "Admiral, the planetary conversion systems are shutting down. We're detecting massive consciousness revival across the entire population. For the first time in centuries, the slaves of Catamaran Prime began to wake up. Beings from hundreds of different species found their minds returning to them as the mechanical control systems failed. They remembered their homeworlds, their families, their own cultures and dreams. The liberation took 3 days. When it was complete, Chen received reports that amazed even him. Catamaran Prime had contained over 1 billion enslaved beings from across the galaxy. Many were from species thought extinct. Others were from council races who had been secretly captured over decades. "Admiral," reported Captain Morrison, We've found something incredible in the planet's central archives. Complete cultural records from every species the Kethmorans ever encountered. Languages, art, technology, history, everything they tried to erase. Chen smiled. The Kethmorans had preserved their victims' cultures even as they enslaved their people. Perhaps some small part of them had remembered what it meant to be free. 6 months later, Elena Vasquez stood before the Galactic Council once again. But, this time, the Great Hall looked very different. New seats had been added for the dozens of species that had been liberated from Kethmoran space. Many of them were races the Council had thought were extinct. The human section was no longer at the back of the hall. It had been moved to the center, reflecting humanity's new status in galactic affairs. The Council recognizes Ambassador Elena Vasquez of the Terran Federation, announced High Counselor Zethvar. His crystal body made subdued musical tones, a sign of respect that had never been offered to humans before. Elena stood up, looking around at the enlarged council. Former slaves sat beside their former rulers, all now equal members of the galactic community. It was what the council should have been from the beginning. "Thank you, High Counselor," Elena said. "I bring greetings from Admiral Chen and the Liberation Fleet. The Kethmoran Empire has been completely dismantled. All enslaved populations have been freed and are in the process of rebuilding their civilizations. Mindweaver Yol of the Valdari spoke directly into everyone's minds. The Council wishes to express its gratitude to humanity for accomplishing what we thought impossible. How can we repay this debt?" Elena's expression remained polite but firm. "Humanity asks for nothing except what we have always wanted, to be treated as equals. The age of thinking any species is superior to others is over." Commander Grix of the Threx shifted uncomfortably in his liquid metal form. "Ambassador, the Council recognizes that our previous assessment of human capabilities was incorrect. We hope humanity will share its advanced biomechanical technology with allied species." "We will," Elena replied, "but only with species that prove they can be trusted with such power. The liberation technology will be shared with former Kethmoran. Slaves first. They have earned the right to defend themselves. The message was clear. Humanity would help those who had suffered, not necessarily those who had stood by and watched suffering happen." A new voice spoke up, one that had not been heard in the Council for over 2 centuries. It belonged to Ambassador Keith of the Morvani, a species everyone thought the Kethmorans had completely destroyed. "The Morvani people wish to thank humanity for our freedom," Keth said, his voice shaking with emotion. "But we also want to ask, why did you save us? Your own species was in danger. Why risk everything for strangers?" Elena was quiet for a moment, thinking of Admiral Chen's words during the final battle. "Because that's what civilized species do," she said finally. "Real civilization isn't about having the most advanced technology or the strongest weapons. It's about choosing to protect those who cannot protect themselves." She looked around the council chamber. "For too long, this galaxy has accepted that some species are worth more than others, that some beings deserve freedom while others deserve slavery. Humanity rejects that idea completely." Elena's voice grew stronger. "We are all products of evolution. We all crawled out of the mud of our home worlds and reached for the stars. None of us is inherently better than any other. The only thing that matters is what we choose to do with our freedom." High Counselor Zethvar's crystal body hummed with what Elena had learned to recognize as deep thought. "Ambassador Vasquez, the Council formally requests that humanity take a leadership role in galactic defense. Your military capabilities are clearly superior to anything we have seen." Elena smiled. "Humanity accepts the responsibility of protecting those who cannot protect themselves, but we will not be the galaxy's rulers. We will be its guardians." She paused, letting that distinction sink in. "The difference is simple. Rulers make decisions for other people. Guardians help them make decisions for themselves." 3 months later, Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of the new Galactic Defense Station. Outside the windows, ships from dozens of species patrolled the galaxy's borders. Many were human designs enhanced with biomechanical technology. Others were traditional alien vessels upgraded with liberation protocols. "Admiral," called Captain Morrison, "we're receiving a priority transmission from the Outer Rim. Long-range sensors have detected an unknown fleet approaching from beyond the galactic edge." Chen turned from the window. "Configuration?" "Unlike anything in our databases, sir. The ships appear to be purely mechanical. No biological components at all. They're heading directly for inhabited systems." Chen smiled grimly. Another threat, another challenge. But this time, humanity would not face it alone. The liberated species of the galaxy would stand together against whatever came from the dark between the stars. "Signal all allied fleets," Chen ordered. "Unknown vessels approaching galactic space, prepare defensive formations." He paused, remembering the words he had spoken to Overlord Vexthul during their final conversation. "And send a message to the approaching fleet," he added. "Inform them that this galaxy is under the protection of free species. Any aggressive action will be met with appropriate response."